Welcome back, deep divers. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Okay, good. Um, because today we're looking at something that's, well, frankly, it's got everyone talking. The potential impact of a Donald Trump presidency on the crypto market.
Yeah, I mean, this is a big one.
Yeah, it is. And we've got some sources here that suggest a whole lot of things. Everything from strategic crypto reserves
Oh, wow.
to like predictions of a full-on crypto golden age. So, yeah, let's dive in.
Let's do it.
So, to start, it seems like, Trump's stance on crypto has been kind of, well, all over the place in the past.
Yeah, a little ambiguous for sure.
Right. But these recent reports we've got,
Hmm.
they seem to suggest that maybe things are shifting.
Yeah, yeah. And what I think is really interesting is that this shift, it's not just happening in a vacuum. It's part of a larger global trend where governments all over the world are trying to figure out what to do about crypto.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We're seeing like some countries that are really cracking down. They're super strict, and then you've got others that seem to be embracing it. And it looks like the U.S., at least under Trump, might be moving in that direction.
Yeah, it is like a really stark contrast. And that brings us to this whole concept of strategic crypto reserves.
Hmm.
So there's this report from the New York Post that says Trump is actually thinking about holding reserves of certain cryptocurrencies, specifically ones based in the U.S., like XRP, Solana, and USDC.
Hmm.
And I don't know about you, but like I always think of strategic reserves in the context of oil or gold.
Right, traditional commodities.
Yeah, exactly. But like crypto, that's a whole new ballgame.
It is. It is. Strategic reserves, they're traditionally meant to kind of stabilize essential commodities, right? To make sure there's enough of something really important. But when you apply that logic to crypto, it gets really interesting because it suggests that maybe the U.S. government, they might actually be starting to view cryptocurrencies as something that's really vital, like a key asset.
Right.
Maybe they're thinking they could use crypto to hedge against market volatility or even some kinds of geopolitical risks.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. But here's the thing that really caught my eye. The article specifically mentions XRP, Solana, and USDC. But like Bitcoin, nowhere to be found.
Right. Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin is like the OG
It
cryptocurrency.
is. It is. And I think this could be a very deliberate choice, focusing on XRP, Solana, and USDC, which all have those strong ties to the U.S. It could be a way of signaling that they're really focused on supporting American innovation in the crypto space. It's like saying, hey, we're backing American-born crypto projects, and we want to see them grow.
Okay, that makes sense.
Hmm.
But wouldn't that, alienate the Bitcoin maximalists out there? I mean, there's already a lot of debate, like within the crypto community about which assets should be prioritized. Some people are just diehard Bitcoin fans.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, anytime you choose to prioritize one cryptocurrency over another, you're going to create some controversy. It's inevitable. And yeah, some people feel strongly that Bitcoin should be the main focus, but others, they see the value in supporting a wider range of projects, especially ones that have a clear connection to the U.S. economy. It's complicated.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's definitely a complex issue with strong opinions on both sides.
Right.
Okay, so speaking of potential controversy, the New York Post article also mentions that Trump's team is actually preparing some, well, pretty aggressive pro-crypto executive orders. They even mention potentially targeting that infamous accounting policy, SIB 121. That could be, that could be a big deal, right?
Oh, yeah. SIB 121 has been a major roadblock for banks wanting to, really get involved with crypto firms. It creates all sorts of accounting headaches, and it basically makes it really difficult for banks to offer any kind of crypto-related services. So if Trump actually repeals it, we could see a flood of institutional money pouring into the crypto market.
Wow.
Imagine major banks offering crypto custody, facilitating transactions, even launching their own crypto products. It could completely change the game.
Yeah, that would be huge. But wouldn't banks still be, I don't know, a little hesitant? Given how volatile crypto is and with all the regulatory uncertainty, it's not exactly known for its stability.
That's a good point. Banks, they're inherently risk averse, right? So
Yeah.
so they're not going to just jump in head first without thinking it through. But if they get a clear signal of support from the government and they see the potential for massive profits, well, that might be enough to entice them. It's always a risk reward calculation.
Right. So what you're saying is we might see a gradual shift with banks kind of dipping their toes into the crypto waters as the regulatory environment becomes clearer and the potential rewards become more obvious.
Exactly. It's unlikely to be an overnight revolution, but I do think the seeds for a major transformation are being planted.
Okay, so far we've got Trump potentially stockpiling crypto and clearing the way for banks to get involved. So what does all this mean for the average person who's, just interested in crypto? Is this really the dawn of the crypto golden age that some people are predicting?
Well, I think for the average person, it could mean that crypto as a whole just becomes more legitimate, becomes more mainstream. With more regulatory clarity, there's less fear of a sudden crackdown, and there could be more investment opportunities as banks and other institutions start getting more involved. But we have to remember, crypto is still a young asset class, and it is volatile.
Right, yeah. So we're not saying everyone should just go all in on crypto because, Trump might be a fan.
No, definitely not.
Do your research, understand the risks, and invest responsibly. Always invest responsibly.
Absolutely. Don't let the hype cloud your judgment.
All right. So let's shift gears a bit and talk about a cryptocurrency that seems to be doing particularly well in light of all this, XRP.
Yeah, XRP. It's been making headlines.
It has, to say the least.
Yeah.
It briefly went above $3 recently.
Sure.
Yeah, it was wild. It even reclaimed its position as the third largest cryptocurrency by market cap. And a lot of people are saying this surge is because of Ripple's recent legal victories against the SEC. So can you give us a quick rundown on what happens?
Sure. So the SEC lawsuit against Ripple, I mean, it's been hanging over XRP for years now. But in July 2023, a judge finally ruled that the way Ripple was selling XRP on digital asset exchanges, these programmatic sales, they didn't actually constitute securities offerings.
Okay.
And this was a huge win for Ripple. And it seems like the market took it as a really positive sign for XRP's future.
Okay, so for those of us who aren't, legal experts, can you break down what exactly programmatic sales are and why this ruling was so significant?
Okay. So basically, programmatic sales, they're like automated, pre-programmed sales of XRP that happen on exchanges. They're open to the public. And the judge ruled that these sales, they don't fall under the definition of securities. And that was a major point of contention in the case. So,
Right.
So this ruling was seen as a big win for Ripple, and it could actually set a precedent for how other cryptocurrencies are classified in the future.
Wow, okay. But the SEC, they're appealing that ruling, right? They're not giving up that easily.
Yeah, you're right. They did file an appeal. They want to overturn the part of the ruling that specifically deals with retail sales of XRP.
Okay, so with this appeal still out there,
Yeah.
why is the market still so bullish on XRP?
Well, I think there are a few things going on. First, that initial ruling, it was seen as such a clear victory for Ripple that a lot of people believe it set a strong legal precedent, regardless of the appeal.
Yeah.
And second, there's just this general sense of optimism around the potential for, a more crypto-friendly regulatory environment with Trump in office.
Right, especially with the inauguration coming up so soon. There's a lot of talk that Trump might make some moves that would specifically benefit XRP.
Exactly. And that speculation, that's definitely fueling some of the current price action.
Okay. So we've got legal wins, a potentially pro-crypto administration, and now, wait for it, XRP ETFs. This seems to be getting a lot of people excited. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so spot XRP ETF, it would basically allow investors to get exposure to XRP without actually having to buy and hold the cryptocurrency directly. It works a lot like an ETF for stocks, but for crypto. And this is significant because it makes it much easier for large institutional investors, like hedge funds and pension funds, to invest in XRP.
And there are like a bunch of asset managers who are just ready to jump on this, right? I've heard there are already a bunch of applications for XRP ETFs that have been submitted to the SEC. They're just waiting for approval.
That's right. And the timing it's really interesting. The deadlines for the SEC to make a decision on these ETFs, they just happen to coincide with Trump's inauguration.
Oh, wow.
And with the potential for, that more favorable regulatory landscape.
So we could be looking at a situation where Trump takes office, puts some pro-crypto policies in place, the SEC approves those XRP ETFs, and then boom, XRP just takes off.
It's It's definitely possible. I mean, JP Morgan estimated that similar ETFs for Solana could attract billions of dollars in investment. So if XRP ETFs get approved, we could see a similar influx of capital into XRP, and that would definitely drive the price up.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And we're already seeing signs of big institutional interest. I mean, there have been reports of significant buy-ins, like totaling over 1.4 billion XRP.
Yes, and those numbers are likely to increase like exponentially if those ETF approvals come through. It's creating a very bullish sentiment around XRP.
Okay, so we've covered a lot here. Trump's potential crypto policies, Ripple's legal battles, and all the buzz around XRP ETFs. It's all very exciting, but it's also, a bit overwhelming. So what's the main takeaway here?
I think the main takeaway is that the crypto landscape is changing really fast. And the next few months, they could be really pivotal. With a new administration taking over and potential changes to regulations, everyone in the industry is kind of holding their breath to see what happens next.
And for anyone specifically interested in XRP, it seems like this is a really crucial time to be paying attention.
Absolutely. XRP is definitely one to watch closely.
All right. We'll be back in a moment to dig even deeper into XRP and its potential to maybe even outperform Bitcoin in the coming years. Stay tuned.
So before the break, we were talking about all that potential institutional money that could flow into XRP if these ETFs get approved. I mean, that would really put XRP in a strong position going forward.
Yeah, and it's not just the ETFs, right? Like I've seen some analysts predicting that XRP could actually hit a new all-time high in 2025. Some are even saying it could go into double digits.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of bullish sentiment around XRP right now, and part of that is coming from technical analysis. People looking at XRP's price chart. Some analysts are pointing to what they call a bullish pennant formation, and that suggests this upward trend, this momentum we've been seeing. It's likely to keep going.
Okay, so for those of us who aren't expert chart readers, can you break down what a bullish pennant is and why it matters in this case?
Sure. So basically, a bullish pennant, it's a pattern that you see on a price chart. And what happens is you get this sharp upward price movement, right? And then after that, you get a period of consolidation where the price is kind of fluctuating, but it stays within this narrowing range. And this range, it often looks like a small triangle, a symmetrical triangle, or so sometimes it looks like a flag on a pole. That's what they call it, a pennant. And then when the price breaks out of this pennant to the upside, that's usually seen as a sign that the previous upward trend, it's resuming, and it could be even stronger this time.
Okay, so if we're seeing this bullish pennant on XRP's chart right now, that could mean that we're in for another big price surge.
That's the general idea. If this pattern plays out the way some analysts think it will, XRP could go as high as $14 in the near future.
Wow, $14. That's more than 4 times its current price.
Yeah.
So are we saying that XRP might actually outperform Bitcoin at some point?
It's definitely possible, but we have to remember, market predictions, especially in crypto, they're inherently uncertain. There are so many factors that could influence XRP's price. Things like regulatory developments, how quickly it gets adopted, overall market sentiment. We can't just rely on predictions.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement, but yeah, a little skepticism is always healthy.
Yeah.
But speaking of other factors that could impact the crypto market, let's talk about central bank digital currencies or CBDCs. We haven't really touched on those yet.
Right. CBDCs, they're definitely a fascinating development. Essentially, they're like digital versions of fiat currencies like the US dollar, but they're issued and controlled by central banks. And they have the potential to really revolutionize how we use money. But they also raise some important questions about privacy and control.
Right. Yeah. And how do CBDCs fit into this whole crypto golden age idea that some people are predicting under Trump?
Well, it really depends on how they're designed and implemented. If they're created in a way that promotes innovation and competition, rather than trying to stifle it, then they could definitely be part of a more dynamic and inclusive financial system. But if they're used to just reinforce existing power structures and control, then they could have the opposite effect.
So it seems like it's a delicate balance, trying to encourage innovation, but also making sure there's responsible oversight.
Exactly. And finding that balance, that's going to be a key challenge for policymakers in the coming years.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier that the next few months could be really pivotal for the crypto market. With Trump's inauguration coming up and the potential for some big regulatory changes, What are some of the things you're going to be watching closely?
Well, there are a few key developments that I think will be particularly telling. First, of course, are those potential executive orders related to crypto. If Trump actually follows through on some of the things that have been reported, that could be a really big shift in U.S. policy towards cryptocurrencies. And second, I'll be watching the SEC very closely. Particularly what they do with the XRP lawsuit appeal and those pending ETF applications. Those decisions, they could have a ripple effect across the entire market.
So it sounds like we're potentially at the start of a really transformative period for crypto. But like you said before, we need to be cautiously optimistic.
Absolutely. There are a lot of exciting possibilities out there. But we can't forget that crypto is still relatively young and it can be volatile. We need to balance our enthusiasm with a healthy dose of realism.
Right. Now, going back to XRP for a minute, some analysts are even predicting that it could like eventually flip Bitcoin, become the dominant cryptocurrency. Do you think that's realistic, or is that just hype?
I think we need to be careful about separating speculation from realistic analysis. While XRP has definitely been doing well lately, predicting a flippening, that's really tough. Bitcoin has been the dominant cryptocurrency for so long. It's got this massive network effect and just huge brand recognition.
That's true. Bitcoin has that first mover advantage. It's hard to replicate that.
Exactly. But that being said, the crypto market, it's constantly evolving. New technologies are coming out all the time, new use cases. So it's definitely possible that XRP or maybe another cryptocurrency could eventually challenge Bitcoin's dominance.
So maybe a flippening is a long shot, but it's not completely impossible.
Right. I think it's more likely that we'll see a more diverse crypto market in the future, with multiple cryptocurrencies playing important roles in different sectors.
Okay, so we've talked about the potential for a crypto golden age under Trump, the rise of XRP, the implications of CBDCs, and even the possibility of a flippening. It's clear that the crypto landscape is incredibly dynamic, very complex. So where do you see the biggest opportunities and risks for investors in this market?
Well, I think the biggest opportunity is just the potential for massive growth. I mean, we're still in the early stages of the crypto revolution, and there's still a lot of room for adoption and innovation.
Yeah, that's definitely exciting. But what about the risks? What should investors be careful about?
Well, I think the biggest risks are volatility, regulatory uncertainty, and then just the potential for scams and fraud. Cryptocurrencies are known for being volatile. The prices can swing wildly in very short periods of time.
It's definitely not for the faint of heart.
Exactly. And then, the regulatory landscape, it's still changing all the time.
Yeah.
Governments all over the world are trying to figure out how to regulate cryptocurrencies, and it's not clear yet what the long-term implications will be.
And then there's always the risk of scams and fraud, like in any emerging market.
Absolutely. So it's really important for investors to do their research, really look into these projects carefully and only invest in things they understand.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
So as we navigate this exciting but potentially risky crypto landscape,
Yeah.
what are some key principles or strategies that investors should keep in mind?
I think the most important thing is to have a clear investment strategy and to stick to it. Decide what your goals are, how much risk you're comfortable with, and what your time horizon is.
And of course, diversify your portfolio, right? Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly. Diversification is key to managing risk.
Okay. So we've explored the potential impact of a Trump presidency on crypto, the rise of XRP, the implications of CBDCs, the potential for a flippening, and the risks and opportunities for investors. I mean, it's been a whirlwind tour of the crypto landscape, but it feels like we've only just scratched the surface.
We have. The space is constantly evolving, There's always something new to learn, something new to explore. It's one of the things that makes it so fascinating.
All right. We'll be back in a moment to wrap up our deep dive into the world of crypto and politics. Stay tuned for our final thoughts. We're back and ready to wrap up this deep dive into crypto and politics. But before we do, I wanted to circle back to something you mentioned earlier about how the lines between crypto and traditional finance are kind of blurring. It really does feel like those two worlds, which used to be totally separate, are starting to merge.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting to watch. For a long time, crypto was seen as this outsider, almost like a rebellious force against the established financial system. But now you see major institutions, even governments, they're taking crypto seriously. They're looking for ways to integrate it.
Right. And we've talked about banks potentially getting involved with crypto custody and transactions. But what about those central bank digital currencies, those CBDCs we discussed earlier? It seems like they're gaining a lot of traction.
Yeah, CBDCs they're definitely a hot topic right now, and they do represent a big step towards bridging that gap between traditional finance and the crypto world. Because when central banks start issuing digital versions of their fiat currencies, they're stepping into the digital asset arena, and that could have some really big implications.
Yeah, yeah. And this brings us back to the idea of a potential crypto golden age under Trump.
Yeah.
So if Trump really embraces crypto and pushes for a more favorable regulatory environment, how do you think that would affect the development and adoption of CBDCs in the U.S.?
Hmm. That's a good question. I think if the U.S. government sends a strong signal that they support crypto innovation, it could create a much better environment for CBDC development.
Yeah.
We might see faster progress toward a digital dollar, and maybe it would even be designed with features that align with those core principles of decentralization and transparency that a lot of crypto enthusiasts really value.
So a pro-crypto stance from the government could actually speed up the adoption of CBDCs in a way that benefits both the traditional financial system and the crypto community.
Yeah, it's definitely possible, but of course, there are always concerns about how CBDCs could affect privacy and financial freedom. So finding that right balance between encouraging innovation and making sure there's responsible oversight, that's going to be really important.
It seems like we're at a real turning point. We can either embrace this transformative potential of crypto and blockchain technology, or we can resist it and maybe risk being left behind as the rest of the world moves forward.
I agree. The decisions that are made over the next few years, they're going to have a lasting impact on the future of finance, not just in the U.S., but globally.
Okay, deep drivers. I think we've given you a lot to think about today. We've explored the potential impact of a Trump presidency on the crypto market, the rise of XRP, the implications of CBDCs, and even the idea of a flippening in the crypto hierarchy.
It's been a really broad discussion, but I think it reflects how multifaceted and how fast-moving the crypto space really is.
Absolutely, and like we've said, we've only scratched the surface. There's so much more to learn and explore in this really fascinating world.
I encourage all of you to keep digging deeper, stay curious, and really engage with all the ideas and innovations that are shaping the future of finance.
Well said. And on that note, we want to thank you for joining us for this deep dive into the world of crypto and politics.
It's been a pleasure.
Don't forget to subscribe to the show for more fascinating deep dives into the topics that matter most.
And be sure to let us know what you think in the comments below. We love hearing from you.
Until next time, keep exploring.